Well, as the newest girl and probably the clockiest girl on the panel,
Girl, hush.
No, because all of y'all know some bitch that done said that about me in a chat somewhere. What they say, I just transitioned 5 minutes ago, right?
It's not me, girl. You know, I would drag them together and post them online.
But my point is, as someone who, the only surgery I've had is my gastric sleeve, right? As someone who has not, I resonate with this idea of the fear of presentation, but also someone who transitioned with a great deal of privilege. And I was able to, I didn't have to learn how to do my makeup. I didn't know anything about hair, but I was wigged and done. I did not know. And my privilege positioned me not to have to know. I was able to recognize early on how my presentation would be a weapon of safety for me. Mm-hmm. I will also say, I think my age, but also I'm 43, right? And I think my age and I think the experience of having to conform and kind of realize how systems move as like millennials and 80s babies, it's easy for us to like conform to systems of oppression because we're just like, bitch, I just want to make it and get through. Girl, everybody don't want to be a Sada Shakur every day, so on and so forth, right? And so it's easy for me to be like, okay, bitch, I'm bald as Lil Bill under this, right? I don't know the world where I would walk outside and go to the grocery store right now and feel not only comfortable, but feel safe. Do I want to have that type of confidence and mindset one day? Sure, because that is how I show up in the world. And I don't want to feel like my wig denotes my womanhood. At the same time, that's an area of tension, right? And we're very public. All of us are very public people. One thing that I wish we would talk about is, I think there's the presentation, but I think there's also the component of race and the experience of race. And I know Madison brought up the conversation about Black girls. One, I've just been thinking since, because this video was posted like 10 days ago. You know what I'm saying?
October 26th.
Mm-hmm. It was a while, right? And I remember thinking, I don't know Black girls who can afford a membership to Gold's Gym. And then I'm just like, okay, who's living in LA, learn, you know what I'm saying? Like all those components. And then I was like, in that moment, I hear everyone talking about, yes, the oppression of the expectation of how you present. And also, I feel like everybody on this panel, even though we know that's there, I'm like, in real time, when I was watching that video, I'm like, that person shouldn't have to, but I'm like, what is the de-escalation mindset to just get out of there and be safe for that person? Like in that moment, I was like, well, what's that conversation? And then it continues to level up to me. No one's holding Gold's Gym accountable to how they created this environment. My thoughts and questions are, do they let people know that all like how
they do. They do.
And I'm like, what is the training process? How are staff trained in de-escalating and handling these situations? What did the one what's her name?
Tish.
What did Tish sign when she came in? Because it feels like she doesn't know that there was
they put her out.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it feels like she didn't know there was a possibility she could turn around and somebody could have a penis. And I'm just saying, like, this is all, like, I know you have personal understanding of Tish Quay, but I'm like, this is me from the back end. I do agree. Don't want to push aside a person's authentic fear, but 5 or 6 days in, it gave. I would like to write an anthem about protecting, the things. It slightly gave a tinge of that, which multiple truths can exist at once. Last but not least, her one solution of safety is a petition that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance need to sign on to give her safety. And the only person involved in all of this situation who is a documented sexual predator is Donald Trump. And I keep wondering, if we focus on the idea of you feeling unsafe, which is what we should focus on, what is the true remedy that we can get out of this? Because at the end of the day, okay, you don't want the trans girls in there, right? Everybody's like, let's get trans bathrooms. If we weren't getting trans bathrooms in the renaissance of the trans, we ain't
getting snapped. We ain't getting snapped. They definitely gonna give us no bathrooms.
So that's not a solution. So I feel like, well, how do we actualize safety? And the last thing I will say is, Madison was talking about, I feel as though most women see trans women as men. And I think we, for them, are a population of men that they more than likely are able to hold accountable to the harm of men than cis men. That there is a world where everybody will rally around them seeing trans women as bad people and essentially men, and we are a classification of men that actually can be called out, and they can put the outcomes of the patriarchy and these other systems at our feet. And most people corral around it, right? Because everyone understands safety and bathrooms when it's us, but there's no conversations around, there's at least 5 men who have been arrested in high and powerful positions in the last week around sexually harming people. There's a Black woman who was a teacher who just beat a case for raping a student in her fucking classroom. But that's not the conversation. It's the phantom belief of fear of bathrooms across the country. Were bitches pissing before 2020? Was y'all like, what was happening? Because my next question is like, this is
before Ogerfeld.
Okay, so like for generations, folks have been using restrooms and figuring it out. I don't know is there a conversation of the world we want to see and how we navigate it versus the world we're living in and how we might have to navigate it for the next however many years?
Let me say this. So, because sometimes y'all say stuff and it confuses me. So just because white people think that they are superior, I'm supposed to act like I'm not, I'm inferior. Just because motherfuckers think something, the reality of a situation doesn't mean I'm supposed to move within their reality. I feel like y'all are justifying harm of trans people just because they don't align with the cisgender standard. And for me, and then y'all turn around and act like y'all are legislating and organizing for the safety of trans people, but then you say, oh, but you got to fit this standard to be safe. That doesn't feel comfortable to me. That doesn't feel okay.
That part. Everybody out here is trying to do this work, and I'm working for the community, but you're only working for the community with bitches that you agree with, align with your aesthetics. And we see it in the way that y'all click up. Oh, it's a trans convening. No, it's a you and your bitches convening. Because no trans men were invited. The girls that don't look a certain way weren't invited. And most of the people that are doing the work are the girls that y'all want to throw away, the non-binary people that you don't want to acknowledge, and half of the clocky girls who are trying to get the resources to do the thing that you're asking them to do. And so at this point, we're hypocrites to our own fucking movement. Either we're here for all of the people in the trans community, we want everybody to eat, or we don't want to eat at all, because those are the two options.
Oh, everybody's not here for all the community.
But what
we know that, but what I'm saying is I agree with Dominique, don't preach it if that's not what the fuck you mean. Say what you mean and mean what the fuck you say.
Would you do this if you were in a space with your homegirl that's Bricky? Because I be in spaces with Bricky girls, and somebody came in and said, she don't look like a girl, we want her out of here. I would flip that motherfucking table like Jesus. If they did that to my friend, I would not be saying, well, girl, you did, your lace wasn't right. Oh, girl, you have a little stubble on your chin. Oh, they did clock you, girl. You didn't have the right makeup on. Girl, you would not say that to your friend.
No, you're correct. I would not say that to my friend.
So why are you saying it about her?
Because I am rejecting the premise. I'm rejecting the premise of
but who are you to do that?
Of this, I am doing it because of this story. I do not believe that is a trans woman.
But you just got information that in February they started their hormones, and how are you rejecting them?
Because I have visual eyes.
And so you're doing what cis women do to us. You are doing what cis women do to us.
I do not believe that.
You are doing what cis women do to us.
Quay, that's bullshit. Quay, that's bullshit. That is bullshit, Quay. You cannot dictate what somebody else identifies themselves as. You are one of the girls that actively talks about your big dick and how you use it. That is a cause for people to illegitimize your womanhood.
That's fine.
And
it's not fine.
You are using an acceleration.
It's not.
You are using an accelerationist theory. I am dealing with what is right in front of me. I am not.
And what's right in front of us are the facts that this girl has been transitioning since February.
Baby, she's not. Y'all are living in a delusion.
Can I say something?
Look at the girl and see she's not trans.
Can I say something?
Quay, you are literally right now speaking talking points and agreeing with people who don't see it for you and don't see it for any of us on this panel, regardless of what we look like. You are agreeing with bigots right now. You are sounding like a bigot.
Sometimes two things can be true.
Sounding.
I don't have to align. I don't have to agree with the community standards. There is nuance to things. And what I am saying is, if you are a transgender woman, it is not about looking a certain way, but you at least got to have a wig on, baby girl. If you're going into
That's
women
look. Is that
only
not look?
spaces,
That is looking a certain way. Like, you are literally.
it is. No, it's not about passing. It's
Can I
not
say
about
something?
making an effort.
Okay, hold on, Jerome. You've asked a few times to say something. I hear what you're saying, Quay, and I'm gonna try to regurgitate what you're saying in a second. Say it, Jerome.
I would just like to say, like, I saw a lot of the comments saying they're not trans because they're not on hormones. Then when they found that the person is on hormones, like, they're not trans, they are setting this up because some political thing. Meanwhile, the only person that has been adamant on making this a political conversation is Tish. We've only seen Alexis speak about this one time on TMZ, yet every post that Tish has made since that day has been about making this political. So why is the goalpost continuously moving for Alexis? I'm confused.
Okay, what I'm hearing Quay say is this. I'm hearing Quay say two things can be true at the same time. I hear Quay saying, no, I'm not telling you that, you have to pass. What I'm telling you is if you say you're trans, all of us here on this panel understand what it's like to go through the stages of going from sand to clay to brick to pavement, bitch, to house.
Diamond.
We know to diamond. We know the levels of it, and there's many different variations of it. So we will accept. We will accept. We will say, all right, you're trans. Got it. Ma'am. We here on the panel understand trans. Them out on the outside don't give a fuck about. They don't care about that. They don't see it. They don't want to understand that. So what I'm hearing Quay say a bit, just a tad, is that it's like, girl, if you give it a little push, you can tell when somebody is confused because their eyes get to squinting and they like, I don't know. Because we do it to the cunts. When we confuse on the cunts. Because it's a lot of cunts that get clocked.
Trans is one.
And we be squinting our eyes like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. But what gets her through might be that heel. What gets her through, it might be that lash. What gets her through, it may be the boobs shoved together. What gets her through outside in the regular. So for safety purposes, I'm hearing this for safety purposes.
She should work out in makeup.
No, not in makeup, Monroe.
She should work out in a wig because I go to the gym
no, Monroe. She shouldn't work out. She should. Okay, let's be clear here. Mama's got a way to go.
That is true. But when it's
okay, so if we're going to introduce that to the chat for the sake of this conversation, sure, she got a long way to go. However, she wasn't at the Met Gala. She wasn't trying to push through at the nearest club or nightclub. Mama was in there getting her workout on. And also she may have had her ball dress or her wig and also her Dorothy shoes in her locker that she was trying to get to before Tish interrupted her in the middle of her very funky groove. So we can't say, well, listen, let me just talk about me. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. What I will not do is try to police her in that space because I know what it's like when a bitch tried to police me. So if Mama's is pushing through with a brush cut, a buzz cut, and a few whiskers, and all she's trying to do is get her biceps together, push on, sister, push on. I'm not here to dictate what that looks like for you. If the conversation, back to what I was saying, is rooted in safety, then let's talk about the protocol, the procedures, how to de-escalate, what all of that looks like. If this is about trying to get the unity back in the community, then let's talk about that. But it's just a lot of distraction and deflection tactics, because to the point, there isn't any Black trans women that this has been publicized or national news about.
Because we know better. We know better. Monroe, we know better. Monroe, sorry, we know better. We know better.
No. It has happened to me. It just wasn't public. We don't get the privilege of it being in public. I was in college and they tried to kick me out of a bathroom. And I was doing all the right stuff. Listen, what I don't like is the arbitrary line of womanhood. And we all, cis and trans, got this shit going on, and it's not enough. If you ain't a family and got a husband, had babies, you're not woman enough. If you ain't got a uterus, you're not woman enough. You can't have a period, you're not woman enough. That's the cis women. That if you're not small enough or dainty enough, you're not woman enough. If you ain't got titties yet, you're not woman enough. It's so many lines that everybody got to define womanhood, and we are judging people. What I don't want to happen is harm to us, if just based on these fucking arbitrary lines, because they don't work for any of us.